Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. We are in Long Branch, New Jersey. This is the Pier Village Beach. It's a beautiful day. In a couple of days, the summer season starts with Memorial Day weekend. And because of that, this is Beach Safety Week as determined by the United States Lifesaving Association. And here from the United States Lifesaving Association is President of the Monmouth County chapter, Gene Hession. He also is a trainer of the lifeguards here in Long Branch. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So you go out to schools and preach beach safety during the week. You just came from a school.
Yes, I just came from Asbury Park High School. We're there today and tomorrow. We do beach safety workshops. We go through all the hazards that they're going to encounter at a beach, rip currents, tidal changes, how to notify a lifeguard when you're in distress. And I'm in about a dozen schools in Monmouth and Ocean County.
Let's talk about what the problems are, what causes drownings, because I know you've had a few here last year in Ocean and Monmouth County, and some before Memorial Day. Is it people swimming when there's no lifeguard there?
That's the #1 risk. A rough rule of thumb is, if you can't do a freestyle stroke continuously for 15 minutes, you should think twice before going in the ocean. So if there's not a lifeguard on duty, your risk of drowning goes up exponentially.
So should they extend the hours for the lifeguards?
They should. Here in the city of Long Branch, we have 2 shifts. We do 9 to 5 and 5 to 7. If there's any wave action, we extend that to 8 p.m.
Is that the same all up and down the Jersey coast?
No, it's not.
You'd love to see that. You would like to see lifeguards on duty.
As president of the chapter, I would love to see it. I'd love to see also lifeguard crews kept on till October 1st.
I don't understand what the pushback would be on not, you were telling me some of the municipalities, some of the beach towns only keep lifeguards on duty till 5. Well, people are just getting off of work.
Basically, it's finances. It comes down to money. But the idea is that, you know, with someone getting off work and it's very hot out and they don't have access to a pool, they're going to go to the ocean. So you have to have lifeguards there till 7 or 8 at night to keep it safe. No lifeguards, big hazard.
Yeah, and people are going to swim after 5 o'clock. It just happens.
No matter what.
And some people just want to avoid the beach tax, so they wait until after that time.
Yeah, there's some financial issues there too. Yes, you're right.
So you said the #1 problem is people swimming after hours. And I'm going to make a guess here, you tell me. #2, riptides?
Rip currents are way up there on the priority list. The problem is knowing how to swim in a pool is one thing. Knowing how to swim here in the Atlantic is quite another. When you introduce rip currents, which is a vertical column of water that pulls people out, and the first instinct people have is to panic and swim against it. It's the worst thing you could do. Notify a lifeguard, signal a lifeguard, tread water, it will dissipate, and then swim parallel to shore.
Now, so we did after hours, rip currents we've talked about, knowing how to swim is a big thing. But what about small children in the water? I would imagine that's not just the lifeguard's responsibility.
No, the best lifeguard any child can have is his parents. When they go in the water, you go in the water. Don't leave it up to someone else to supervise your children. And especially when there's wave action, you should be 2 or 3 feet away at most. And that's the thing, is people tend to let their kids wander and they don't keep an eye on them. If someone's sitting up here, how are they going to watch a 4-year-old in the water?
And the assumption is the lifeguard's watching them, but the lifeguard has responsibility for dozens and dozens of people, and probably they're watching the people that are out the furthest.
That's true. I mean, at any given time, there could be 500 people on this beach in the water. So it's easy to not see a 3 or 4-year-old behind an adult. So it's a density issue. So the best lifeguard any kid could have is his parents.
Let's get to one last thing we went to the Mayo Clinic site to talk about, where they talked about beach safety. By the way, they claim that every single drowning is preventable, I guess, which makes sense because you don't have to go in the water. But they say that knowing CPR, people on the beach knowing CPR is one of their top recommendations. And right now, only 70% of Americans know CPR. I would imagine you push for that.
No, that's true. Every adult, every child, in fact, they teach CPR now at Asbury Park High School to freshmen. That would definitely come in handy in an emergency situation. The other situation is if your child swallows water, aspirates water, that's an automatic trip to the ER. Don't think that everything's okay. If they swallow water, get your child checked out. There's two types of drowning, fatal and non-fatal. Sometimes the effects of a non-fatal drowning are delayed. They could be hours later. They need to be checked out by a professional physician at an ER.
All right, I'm not the expert. I went through my list. What am I missing? What do you tell kids when you go to the schools?
Basically learn how to swim. Don't swim alone, swim with a buddy. Always, but always swim near a lifeguard. If you get caught in a rip current, signal a lifeguard, tread water, don't panic. The other thing, don't dive off rocks or jetties and go running into the ocean and dive head first. We have a lot of cervical spine injuries that way. Other than that, we want everybody to have a safe summer. Common sense.
It's funny you say learn how to swim. For people that don't know how to swim, the American Association of Pediatrics is now recommending, and this is fairly new, that children learn to swim at 1 year old. So it's not just people out there learning how to swim. Parents should be teaching their child very young.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sadly, 1/3 of Americans do not know how to swim. So if you live in a coastal area and you want to enjoy this beautiful environment, you should learn how to swim. They have swimming classes for 2- and 3-year-olds. They have swimming classes for adults. There's no excuse not to learn how to swim.
As we stand here right now, you feel confident that Long Branch and many of the neighboring communities, they're as safe as they possibly can be?
As safe as humanly possible. Accidents are going to happen, no matter how careful we are. But we spend a lot of time in our training programs to train for every eventuality. When kids dig tunnels underneath the sand and get trapped, if they lacerate an artery, if someone needs CPR, a heart attack, a stroke, a seizure, we train for all of that.
Great, thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. Gene Hession is the president of the Monmouth County chapter of the United States Lifesaving Association. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, people think that the elderly are the most susceptible to scams. That's not the case anymore. You may be surprised to find out what group is. That's when Jersey Matters continues.